Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Teresa Sullivan. I'm a bead artist. I'm an artist who works in the medium of mostly glass beads, sometimes found objects all together. And I am going to finish this bracelet right in front of you. I want to start out with a mild critique about two things. One, that I think the size 4 seed beads are a little bit big, the orange ones. Next time I would use size 6, which is a much more common and easy to find size. The other critique, which is a little more structurally important, is that when I began the piece, my first stitch had the sticky outy beads. The reason my first stitch doesn't look like my first stitch is because of the wonky start that I gave it. That actually creates several rows, 3 rows when you're creating the start to begin with. That's why there's 1, 2, 3, and then this is the fourth row. But that's fine. But the only thing that it does when I do the sticky outy immediately is that because of the rotation, because I'm doing a step up at the end of each row, that means the step up coincides with the sticky outy beads. That is not a problem, except that the step up spot tends to kind of crunch in. It's a little tighter on that, just on that one stitch because of the double stitch, and it wants to fight the direction that I want it to go in. I want it to go in this way, not that way, right? So it's not, doesn't make it impossible for me to finish this. It just means that next time I do this, I will once I establish my wonky start, I will do stitch one, new stitch two, and then the third stitch will get the sticky outy bead, then the fourth stitch, then the step up. That way, the natural tendency of the herringbone tube will be more friendly to the idea of having it curve in this direction. So I kind of flattened it up a little bit so that it would behave a little bit better. And now I am going to simply start stitching. In the meantime, I will also let you know that, let's see, this is excuse me, oh boy, watch out for those sticky outies. They catch thread on them. There we go. Now, one consideration too is that I want this sticky outie and this sticky outie to be the same distance as this sticky outie and that sticky outie. Therefore, again, when I created the beginning of this piece, before I get to the sticky outie, I have 4 rows of beads completed here due to the way the beginning is finished. So because I have 4 beads in between, or 4 rows in between, not counting, and this row I'm counting here is actually the row with the sticky outie. There are 4 beads, 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the fifth row is the sticky outie beads. So counting from here, I did my last sticky outie, I did 1 row, so that's row 1, and then this is row 2, 3, 4, and then this will be my sticky outie. So I need 1 row here, 4 rows there. 1 plus 4 equals 5. That is the correct spacing. So see if I can get a start going on it. The wonkiness of the beginning is going to be a little confusing at first when joining your ends. That's another reason people love the herringbone start to it, or excuse me, starting the herringbone with a ladder stitch, because these beads that you need to join in line up so nicely. Uh, they're straight. However, the ladder stitch beads don't look like this. They don't look like herringbone. They're ladder stitch. That's why. So this is why I created this tutorial so that you could see the advantages. Now, yes, the disadvantage is that it's a little bit more hassle. However, I just figure if you know how to do both types, you can make a choice informed by design choices and structural choices rather than ease of doing it or ease of making it or just ability to do it that way. That way, you have better choice in the matter. So I have to kind of line them up here. I'm coming out this bead and I need to count these two beads, even though these are very far apart, these two beads actually go together. So I have to go down into the next bead. This bead underneath it is a basically bead for that's on the next row. So I ignore that one. Whew, and I unhook that thread from the sticky outie. Now, let's see. I went into this one. Just like before, I skip these two and I go up this one, down one, skip up. Because they're splayed out so far is why you see that. Otherwise, it just looks like a normal row or a normal stitch. Then it's up into here and down. And have to make them good and tight. And again, these are splaying apart, but you have to kind of conceptualize, for lack of a better term. You have to realize that these down here are the previous row, and these that are trying to act like they're just wacky, wonky, way far apart, they're supposed to be the two that you go through, the two that are together. I need to make that good and tight. And then, see, this bead wants to act like its buddy. Nope, you're the next stitch, mister. Okay, here we go. And these are splaying apart a little because they're at the end. You found that as you're doing the regular tube. So that goes together. And once I go through that, that's the bead they're going to go through. You'll see in a sec. Again, see how far apart they are? I have to keep them together. I have to rope them in. Just like a cute little calf that weighs 400 pounds and is bearing up. No, it's easier than that. My beads are not animals, not that I know of. Now, again, even though this is way up here and this is way down there and these are way far apart, that's what you put together. The two down below are the ones that are in the previous row. Pardon the back of the hand there. And here it comes. They are, I'll tighten this up again. And yes, it doesn't want to adhere yet. I'm going to go through the beads again anyway, a second time. And again, second to last stitch, these beads are way far apart. Well, not for long because I'm going to go through both of them. And here we go. And guess where I go from here? Down into this one. And yes, the beads are splaying apart. They want to trick you. You're not tricked by that anymore, are you? And I'm about to go through my last bead. And yes, it's a little loosey-goosey there, so it's time for me to tighten that puppy up. The way I will tighten it up is to pass the needle through two beads, not one. So that'll help anchor it. And I'm just going to reef on it really hard. I'm going to go boom like that. And I'm going to use my, I've said this and I've mentioned this in other videos. Do this with your thread. That way you complete the stitch, you tighten it up, you tuck it between your first and second fingers, and then you can do whatever you want from there with the needle. Why? Because you want that thread tension. You don't want it to have a gap there. And when you have a gap there, go through 2 or 3 beads, that's fine. Oh, and sure enough, watch out for those sticky outies. They catch thread. Come on, baby. Off you go. Ooh, let's see. Let's see if I can unfurl it from this. I will have to let go of that. Ooh, come on, baby. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. When in doubt, loosen. Oh, let's see. Nope, doesn't want to. Okay, not yet. Ah, here we go. Ah, it worked. Yay. Yes, when in doubt, loosen. That heals a multitude of sins. What can I say? Did I do it again? I hope not. Let's see. Okay. I will hold it away from the sticky outies. I will first, before pulling it all the way through, because there's that gap there, I am going to pull not all the way through yet, but on the previous stitch. There we go. Reef on that sucker. There we go. I'll show you again. Looks pretty oogly right now, doesn't it? Well, not for long. Nothing a little thread tension wouldn't fix. And I'm going to carefully hold this away from the sticky outies because sticky outies catch thread. And again, oh, come on. There we go. Now we got some purchase. Now I'm going to keep going around the rest of these stitches, the last 3 stitches a second time, because again, it needs reinforcement. Bracelets get so much wear and tear, more than jewelry, more than rings, maybe more than rings, I don't know, but definitely more than necklaces and so on, because of where they are located. And you can't reinforce it too much unless you spend, like, the as much time reinforcing it as you spent making the entire bracelet, perhaps. That's why I recommend doubled thread, twice as strong right off the bat. I did remember reading a wonderful bead article in a wonderful bead magazine about some wonderful project, and the author of the project casually mentioned that they had gone through and done all the stitches a second time because they wanted it stronger. They were using single thread. I thought, well, if they had been using doubled thread, they would not have had to spend twice as much time making the bracelet as they would have had to, as they did. Or I mean, they would have spent half the time making the bracelet as they did. So yeah, I'm not that crazy about the inside dimensions of this. I'm going to play around with it, get them to behave a little bit. But that's something to keep in mind with that what I was talking about earlier, which is having the step up spot be end up on the inside of the curve. So what that means is that if you're doing a plain herringbone bracelet without sticky outies, it doesn't matter. Just do it. Let the curve suggest to you which way to curve it, and finish and tight and do what I just did. Finish off the bracelet. But if you're doing sticky outies, make your sticky outies on stitch 3 after you start the piece, not stitch 1. That way you will end up with a little less of that wonk. And I will conclude it in a moment. I will just recommend that you reinforce the connections to it. Go through at least one more time after the initial connection, even if you didn't have the oogly thread gaps that I did. Trim your thread as close as you can to the end of where the thread's coming out. Mush it into shape. What I'll probably do is just kind of go like this to reinforce the direction that the beads need to be kind of resting in. And yeah, start wearing it. What the hey? Yay. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have questions or comments, let me know. I have a bead store on Etsy called Teresa Sullivan Studio. I have a website called teresasullivanstudio.com, and that is TeresaSullivan studio.com. So I hope you enjoyed this. Smash the like button. I'll share with your friends. Make a bracelet, enjoy it, and maybe on the next video I'll do a bunch of starts, maybe 2 or 3 sticky outy lengths at a time on a bunch of different ideas, because not everybody has access to these vintage little cup shaped beads. But what if you use sequins instead? What if you use just a size 6 bead and a size 11 bead? What if you used a Hishi bead of some sort? I will come up with some more design ideas for you, and hopefully that'll just add to the fun of it all. So again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate your presence, your interest, and I hope you're having fun with this. And thanks again. I'll see you next time. Bye.